Oh, hey guys, back at you, back at you. Oh, what are we doing here today? Had a little extra wire here, and what I did here, made a couple push-in cages. I'm gonna try this. I've never tried it before. I see some of the troops out there doing it. I've seen Palmer. I've seen Richard, Noel, a few others. I like the idea. And what you do is take a frame that's got a little bit of nectar in it and some sparse brood on it, and you want to put it in a colony. You want to put a laying queen in a colony. And no telling how long she's been in that cage. She's been in there for long. She's shut down and laying. So the trick is on it, I'm sure you guys, a lot of you have seen it. You get a frame of brood, get a little bit of, small amount of nectar down here, and position the cage, take her out. If your queen comes with some tendons, let them out, keep her. Lift your cage up, put it on the frame of brood, shake all the bees off. Do this in a closed building. You can do it in your bathroom, wherever, in your truck cab, whatever, so where that queen won't get away on and fly off. And then prop it up and open the cage up and let her crawl inside of there, on top of that brood frame. And then position around to where you've got some open cells in there that she can lay in. Make sure you got open cells. You can move it around on that thing till you get the right spot. Have a little bit of nectar down here, and then when you get the right spot, push it down in. Now, I made this one probably, let's see here, 1 inch high. I think that's going to be good. And I just eyeball. What I did is took a piece of paper, notebook paper. This happens to be about 6 inches by 5 inches, 6 by 5, and I cut it out. And then I just folded it up. So I said, well, that looks about right. I think them Richard and Palmer cages are larger than this, but I think this will be fine. And this one happens to measure 5 by 3.5, basically. 5 by 3.5 with a 1 inch bend around. And what you do is you bend the sides. I bent it over this 3/4 plywood, that's all I did. And just eyeballed it, and then bent the 2 sides. And then I came in with my cutters, my tin snips. Came in with my tin snips on the end and snipped it, and then folded that up. And then I took my good old Salco P69 stapler. This is the same stapler. These are expensive, by the way. I think I got this from Man Lake. This sucker was like, I think, 56 bucks. It's expensive. Then I bought a lot of staples with it, and I've used a lot. I haven't been using the wax-coated corrugated nuke boxes for a while, but I'm going to buy some more because I have the stuff. I mean, you can go a lot of ways with nuke boxes, but those to sell bees, you can throw them in them corrugated boxes. I bought about 20 of them boxes, and then they sent them to me, and then I discovered I've got to have. They never told me you got to have a staple gun to put them together. So, of course, you got to have $100 to get the free shipping, right? So I jumped on them a little bit. I said, hey, listen, I understand now I got to have a stapler, and I don't need any more supplies. I need a staple gun and that, but that's not going to put me over the 100 limit. They felt sorry for me. They felt sorry for old Steve-O. Because I peed in their ear a little bit, because I said, listen, you guys should have warned me from get-go that I needed this staple gun to put this stuff together. And they said, yeah, you're right. No shipping. free shipping on that. How's that? I said, oh, you people are beautiful. I like Mann Lake. They work with you. Yeah. So what I did is I shot 2 staples. I taught 2 staples in there in the corners after I folded it over. I made that little cut in the corner and I folded that up, and then I just bent them around and stapled it. So I'll probably make more of these, and because I'm going to buy some bred queens and introduce them also this summer, because I want to play around with some different genetics. That's what I wanted to do. So I wanted to show you that staple gun. It loads here. It's got this wire on it here. You push down. It's kind of hard to do because I just loaded it. But anyway, it's easy to do when you first get it because it's pulled out. When it's empty, this spring comes down. You can see it's quite a bit collapsed spring, but it comes down. It's got a hook here, and you just push it through that hole. And it's got a tongue on it where you can run it inside in boxes and staple them up. The thing works really nice, and it worked really slick for these push-in cages, stapling that end. I imagine you could do it with a regular, office stapler, do the same thing. But this is kind of cool because you can put these cages in on your frame. Say this is your frame. You can push that in to where you're into about halfway in. So you got plenty of room here for the queen to walk around. Then them bees, and leave these on, leave her trapped in here for 4 days. She's got a little nectar she can sip down here in that comb. Plus the bees are going to feed her through this wire. And if they're really aggressive on the wire, like they're trying to get at her, they really haven't accepted her yet. So it's a great way to check it. I've had many cage queens die inside the cage. They don't dig her out fast enough, whatever, they end up dead in the cage. But this here method is kind of cool. You can leave them in about 4 days, usually. From what I'm reading, is about right on them. So we're going to play with that. I thought I'd show you this stapler. I want to show you this trick here. I finished this up today. So yeah, this will take my oxalic acid cups. I bored this out this morning over at Junior's house with a hole saw. He had a 1 3/4, and that works about right. You got enough here sticking up. I took 2 sheets of 3/4, and I just put a piece of dunnage under the drill press. And I didn't have this piece here. This was separate. And so I just bored clear through, actually just through my hole saw. There's a center pilot bit. As soon as it poked through, I stopped. And I did all 12 holes, and then I flipped it over and came back the other way and cleaned the hole out. If you go punch clear through with a hole saw, a lot of times it'll splinter on you and everything. But if you just let your pilot bit just pop through the wood, and then you can flip your material and come back the other way, you get a nice clean hole like this. So this is going to work out slick. I'll drill another hole over here for my measuring scooper to where I can put them in. So you got a dozen here. I just took number 9 gauge aluminum is all I did here. Bent a loop. I put 2 washers here, and I took a drywall screw, 1 1/4 drywall screw, and sunk that in on the 4 corners. And went in nice. The drywall screw wasn't going to split this. It's plenty sturdy. I had a piece of this 1/2 conduit laying around, so I just looped the ends. I left this wire sticking up wild. I just kind of bent it over, got an idea where I was at. Then once I anchored this end here, I put both wires through my tubing here, and then came around, bent two loops here and sunk it in. So it's very simple deal. So when you order Rick's vaporizer, check with him and see. I think he was having a little trouble with getting these silicone cups, but I think maybe he's got that dialed in now to to where you can get extra cups and make yourself a little tray like this. It's so much easier and handy. You can walk around, set it on a hive, your next hive, or set it, and just carry it from hive to hive. You've got all these cups, and you can see which one is empty. And then once you get them all empty, you come back, reload them, and keep going. So you can do a dozen hives at a time like this. Also, the beauty of this, you're not losing these cups. I don't know how many things I've lost out there in the bee apiary, wandering around, losing stuff like hive tools, these cups. I've lost a cup or two, and then I find them a week later. Yeah. Also, when you're cleaning these cups out, word of caution, this you get crystals on there. And if you go in, I was wiping them out with a paper towel one day in the shop, and that stuff is a fine mist powder, and it comes right up, and when it hits your nostrils, I'll tell you what, you're sneezing, and it's burning. So be extremely careful with this acid. Even when you're cleaning this up, those fine misty particles will come off. And when it shoots up your nose hole, yeah, you're going to pay attention, trust me. All right, so that's a little quickie video. I just thought I'd show you what I'm doing. I got more boxes here. I just slapped my second coat of paint on the bottom. And I've got to get my wires on here. I've got those cut already. And they'll get stapled on tomorrow. And I won't put these out in the field yet until I get my lids. I got to go down and get more plywood and whack out the lids, bore the holes. And yeah, we're getting her going, guys. All right, be happy, be strong. We got to keep getting her on. See ya.